What's up, everybody? It's Christian here, and today we're going to be doing another video. I'm trying to do a video a week because I'm just trying to stay on top of my YouTube, and I honestly enjoy it. I'm feeling really good right now. I have a new mic. If it sounds better, I don't know, maybe let me know in the comments. I think it might sound better. I think it will. This mic will improve it. And today we're doing something a little different. I don't think I've ever done anything like this before, but I'm pretty much going to be showing you guys how I edit my Instagram photos, and everyone's been asking for this. I've been DM'd like a ton of times, like, hey, what program do you use? How do you do that? And all this stuff. So I'm just gonna dive right in and show you guys how I do it. So let's get it. Okay guys, so this is the photo that we're gonna be looking at. This is the before picture. This is the after picture. I honestly think that it looks pretty dope like that. So this is the look I've been going for on my my like Instagram a lot. It's kind of like moody, but at the same time it's like, I don't know, I just like the colors of it a lot, and I kind of made my own presets. So pretty much we're just gonna start this thing off and we'll get things going. So the first thing we're gonna have to do about this photo is, I didn't show, but I had to crop it in quite a bit. I usually use a 4x5 and just adjust however I want. I think that looks good. Shows a little bit of the waves. This is from my trip in California. So pretty much the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to make it a little bit cooler, down to 5,185. I think that'll look good. The tint, I had it a little bit more pink. I thought that kind of looked cool, different look. Also, I do have presets that I normally do that speeds up the process like 10 times. So I'm not using those right now though, because I want to show like the whole process of what I did for this photo. So the exposure, I did raise the exposure to about 0.36 and the contrast to about 29. I think that looks good there. Also, I forgot to mention, this is Lightroom Classic CC. There's two Lightrooms from Adobe. There's the CC and then the Classic. I like the Classic better. I've just been using it longer, and I didn't really honestly like the newer version that they came out with, so that's why I use this. If any of you guys are wondering, for future reference if you want to try to use it. So next, I brought down the highlights all the way to bring some detail back into these waves, because I like the way they look once you can actually see them. I did though bring the shadows up quite a bit to around 74, just so you can start seeing some detail in there. I brought the whites up a little bit. I brought the blacks also up to give it a little bit of like fade-ish look. Now it's looking a little bright right now. That's okay. It's gonna look better in a sec. I brought the vibrance up literally like nothing. 2, and then I bring the saturation down though a little bit. It's not too much in your face with all the colors and such. Now with the tone curve, I did make it quite subtle. I made it so that I had a point here, here, and here. Now I brought this up just a little bit, and I brought this here and this here, and I think that's all I did with that. I think actually I'm going to bring this back down here, bring this back up. Really, we're just going for a little bit of subtlety here. It's honestly whatever your preference is. I'm just toying around with the stuff to, oh snap, don't do that. I'm just trying to toy around and see what I think looks best. I think that looks really good right there. Switch that on off. Yeah, that looks good. It brings out some detail and some depth in that. So now we're going to go into the HSL, which helps bring out a lot of the different colors and how you want these colors to actually look. For the reds, I had the hue up a little bit, more towards the oranges. I had the oranges staying where they are. The yellows were up as well. The greens were also a little more green. The aquas stayed the same. The blues I brought to the aqua a little bit though. To the left. The purples I kept. And the magentas, honestly, there's like no magentas in this, but I brought them up a little bit. Now going into saturation, I brought the saturation of the reds a tad bit up. I left these two alone. I brought the saturation of the greens down -20. I brought the saturation of the aquas. So it's supposed to be a desaturated look is what I'm going for. So pretty much everything is going to be a little bit desaturated. And I brought down the purples quite a bit. And the magentas as well. So everything is pretty much desaturated except for the reds. I do like the way the red pops in photos a little bit more, but everything else is supposed to be desaturated to give it the look that I was going for. For the luminance, I brought the luminance of the reds down. The oranges stayed the same. The yellows I brought up. Not that much, that much. I brought the greens up as well. The aquas I brought down just a tad bit. I brought the blues down quite a bit. I brought the purples down and I left the magentas alone. And that one's honestly just super subtlety right there. Supposed to just give it a different type of look that you guys would want to go for. So for this one, I split toned with the hue of 35, right about there. But that does make it really orange, so I did use a saturation of only around 5 for the highlights of the photo. For the shadows, this is a really good color preset, I believe. For it's called 215 for the shadows, but I didn't like it so saturated, so I also brought that down to around 5-ish. Now, as we go down a little bit more, we go into the detail. So for the sharpening, I literally barely tapped it up like that, left it alone except for the masking. I did mask it so it sharpens just the person as like more than anything else. The noise reduction, I did a little bit of luminance and that was it. I did not mess with any of these. I can't do lens corrections on my camera. I do not know why. It's just the way my G7 works. It doesn't let me do lens corrections, so it's kind of whack. But I do auto, and it makes it pretty straight. I think it actually fixed a lot of the things that you would have to do manually with all these, so I like the auto function of this. Now we go into the effects. I barely have any vignette on it. Just a little bit, not a lot. A little bit goes a long way, I believe. Now, for the grain, I brought it up. I like the way, I don't know, the graininess looks on the photo. Gives it a cool, like, rugged, old school look. I really love the old school stuff in photos. I brought the size down a tad bit and the roughness I barely touched. Now the dehaze. Dehaze is a very powerful thing. If you bring it too far down, it's that. If you bring it too far up, it's that. So you want to use it in moderation. I brought it up a little bit to around 25, 24, somewhere in there. And I thought that actually looked really cool. I don't know. These little effects did a little, like that little section right here that just had a couple things did a lot for the photo, I believe, and it brought out a lot of the waves and the color. Now going down here, I did not touch the tint of the shadows at all, but I did mess with all the others. So the red primary I brought up more towards the orange. I brought the saturation up a tad bit. I had the greens brought up around plus 15-ish, and I took down the saturation to around negative 30-ish. And the blues, I brought more blue to plus 20-ish, and saturation down as well to around 30, negative. And I honestly think that's all I did for this photo. If you guys, oh, actually, just kidding. I go into this brush and I added a little bit into this. So what I did is I made my brush bigger by scrolling on my mouse up, and I just colored this in. It doesn't look like anything right now. See, look. That is what I'm coloring in right now. You'll see it won't actually look red. But what I'm doing is I can like mess around with everything and it would only affect that little brushed area. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the exposure to 0, and I'm going to bring up the saturation because I feel like it's not too much, just a little bit to bring out the blues of the water. I'm also going to bring down the highlights a little bit. And I'm going to hit new because I'm going to make another brush. I'm going to brush the sand. Make the sand a little bit more orange. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, that's way too. That's gross. And if you hold Alt, it makes it so that you take off the brush. So see how I'm brushing away from right here because I did not way that part looked. I like the way the more saturated look is because it's just like, it's not a lot of saturation, it's just, oh snap, just kidding. But it gives the sand a little more orange color that it should have. I think that looks kind of cool. Maybe not so saturated actually, just kidding. Right about there. And then one more brush. I will zoom in on my person, and what I'm going to do, I stepped in mud right before this photo to get down onto these railroad tracks, so that's why my feet look like they're a different color. It's really funny looking actually. I didn't notice that until I started editing it last time, and I was like, well, that doesn't look normal. There we go. And I'm gonna bring up the exposure just a tad bit on me, just to make me pop a little more. And oh, I think that is it. So this is before and this is the after. I don't know, I just really like the way this looks. I have presets for this to make this a lot faster, and I might release them so that you guys can get them, because I don't know, if you guys want your photos to look like mine, then that's super dope. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Also, comment down what you guys want to see next. Maybe a tutorial on something else, or a vlog, or whatever kind of video you guys want to see next. Make sure you guys comment that down below. Thank you so much. Peace out.